So Pete, introduce yourself to the viewers and the listeners and explain a little bit about why we're sitting here in the business.
Okay, my name's Pete Hilton. I was born in Manchester, moved south when my dad moved jobs with Barclays Bank, ended up in Bishop Stortford. Went to school locally, did an engineering HND, and then after that worked locally for a company called Coleman Engineering. From there, they used to repair cars as well, and I quickly got into...
Was the plan to repair cars? Was that the plan?
Well, I just enjoyed doing it. I remember doing a job with a friend that worked there one night on an Escort Mark 1 clutch, in and out. We got £30 for it. I thought, great, this is for me.
And that was the first job?
That was the first job, and I remember the drive we did it on and the guy who we did it for.
It was unofficial Hilton and Moss clutch change, the first job on the Mark 1 Escort.
And then from there, I just thought I've got to work for myself. I could see the opportunity. Friends of mine were asking me to do repairs on their cars. You know, I got work from the local pub, and I went to see my grandmother to ask her to borrow some money to build a garage in my parents' garden. And luckily she said, yeah, £10,000, never paid her back.
So when was that? What year was that?
That was about 1984, I think. Yeah, 84, yeah. Had a Mark 1 Astra GTE, superb car. Drove to North Wales. And luckily she lent me the money. She wrote me a cheque for half of it there and then. And
so that was the start of the group, was it, in 1984?
Well, 1984, yeah, we built a garage big enough to get 4 cars in.
Yep.
And
how did the work start? Was that classics to start with, or was it the wider?
Well, it was a bit of everything to start with, but we quite quickly got into MGs and TRs. We specialised in doing sills on MGBs.
Yeah.
We used to do one side at a time, and if you know the MGB, you've got to take the front wing off, you've got to cut the back wing off, and then you're into the outer and inner sills, jacking points, welding them in, and then we would paint the side of the car in the garage. Had a great system in there. We used to just open the door slightly, all the paint used to get sucked out. Wouldn't work today, but it was great in the day. And that's what I enjoyed doing, paint work. So
what's the story of these two cars? Which one did you buy first, and how long have you owned both of these cars?
Well, this Triumph here, TR5, you know, an amazing car.
Not to be confused with a TR4.
Sorry?
Not to be confused with a TR4.
Everyone does, but you can tell it distinctively because of the badge on the bonnet. It's over to one side. I think it's a really cool car. I bought this car when I was 21, so it's 40 years old for me. I did make a mistake of selling it at one point, but was able to buy the car back from the guy because I realised I didn't need the money. I thought I did to move into our first unit, which was in Elston.
So this car's kind of part of the story, I guess, with the group, with you selling it to try and fund the expansion of the business and then buying it back.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I paid the chap, I think, about £700 more than I sold it for to buy it back.
How long after you sold it?
A month.
Yeah.
About a month.
And then ever since then you've loved it, because since I've known you, no one's allowed to say anything bad about it.
It is the best car because...
Although you never use it.
I've got the history with it. I never use it now. Well, I need to again, but I've done a lot of miles in this car. I've been to Le Mans in it. And the history of it, though, is I bought it from a local scrap dealer in Stansted, you know, vehicle dismantlers they are today, but a scrap dealer then. And I bought it with a friend of mine for £2,000. And we got it back to the workshop in the garage. And the idea was to just like make it good, paint it and resell. And we thought we could make some money. You know, we were only early 20s. Anyway, this thing was so rotten that it fell to bits, and the guy that I bought it with said, you know, I can't get involved in that.
So you didn't know it was? Did you think it was a good car?
I thought it was better than it was.
Yeah.
We paid £2,000 for it. I bought him out of the car after that, And then I did a complete restoration on it.
How long did that take?
Had a new chassis.
Was this the first restoration then for Hilton and Moss before?
Yeah, really. I mean, it had absolutely everything. New wings, new floors, new inner and outer sills, new inner wings.
Yeah. Because Hilton and Moss, as we know it,
Bonnet's original.
Yeah.
Bulkhead's original. Boot lid's original. Everything else is pretty new. The chrome is pretty original. The bumpers.
Well, so Hilton and Moss, as you know, it was founded in, or as we know, it was founded in 2010 now, with Castle Sports Cars in the 2000s. So when was this car, when did you restore this? Because this was sort of prior to everything.
Yeah,
everything that we know now.
This car was in my double garage.
Yeah.
Did it in there. The engine was done by a company called North Essex Crankshafts that I don't think are around today. But it just shows you how prices have changed.
Yeah.
We spend 20, 30, 40,000 pounds on engine rebuilds now.
Yeah.
Back then that was 500 pounds. Still the same engine. Since I've had the car, it's had 2 chassis.
Yeah.
First one was done by me, but I don't think it could have been amazing. And then the second one was actually done by Hilton and Moss. We did a chassis.
So it's been restored twice in the TR?
Well, it had a chassis change twice, but the body's been perfect.
Yeah.
Since I've had the car, I think it's been painted 3 times.
And is it original colours? Or is it
all original, raw blue? Fantastic, isn't it? Paint code 56. Checked it this morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's an absolutely stunning car. It's 150 brake horsepower. It's got
fuel injected, isn't it?
4-speed manual overdrive.
Yeah.
At 4,000 RPM sounds absolutely incredible.
When was the last time you heard that?
Well, yeah, the last trip to Le Mans it would have been.
When was that?
Probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Always go with a friend of mine called Fraser.
How many times did it go to Le Mans? How many times
this car, I reckon I've probably been to Le Mans 10 times in this car.
Really? Wow.
But as I say, it will, it's about 110 miles an hour, 4,000 RPM. Sounds fantastic. It's the first, they call it injection, but it wasn't injection, proper injection we know today. It's more induction, but it was in the old Triumph 2.5s, the saloon car. Yeah, it has inherent problems because if you run the fuel tank down a little bit too much, if you run it down a bit, it tends to start vaporizing. So you need to keep cold fuel in there, keep it topped up. The American version was the 2500, which they didn't sell these over in the US. They basically ran exactly the same bodies, but with carburetors.
Because the 5's a rare car, isn't it?
I think I'm right in saying 2,700 original TR5s built.
Okay.
Well, don't know how many are around still today, but
we better officially check that for the viewers.
I think it's around that number.
How many are left? That's a question.
Don't know.
Probably not many.
I love this car because of the history. Got married in this car, and this car was restored in the double garage.
Yeah, so it's an inherent part of the history, I guess, of the business.
Yeah.
So when did the Stag come into it? Because we've got the Stag.
Well, the Stag
right,
is another car that we would never sell because it's part of the history of this business.
Yeah.
So when we first thought, let's go back, from that business, we ended up getting involved in, as you know, accident repairs is our main business.
Yeah, because obviously that one was restored and there was quite a gap, I guess, wasn't there, before you were involved heavily with classics like we are today again.
Yeah,
there was a bit of a gap in the middle.
Just quickly on that, we were specialising in Triumphs, MGs, that sort of thing. That's what I did. And then I did the odd accident repair and realised that, there was a good business to be made in accident repair. And we then went into manufacturer approval, first one being Mercedes-Benz. And that's our main business. And that's kind of how it developed into. And then, Hilton Coachworks is that business. But then I think I'm right in saying about 15 years ago, some of the guys, panel guys, said, look, let's have a go at restoration. And that's something that I always wanted to revitalise. Okay. So this car is the first car we did, and it's a fantastic job.
I guess that helps trace Hilton and Moss's history, because obviously the Hilton and Moss as a business has been going since 2010, but the experience goes back all the way to the 80s with the team and the people we've got here, and yourself, obviously.
Absolutely.
But the stag.
So this stag was chosen because I like them, and this was bought from a really nice man in Norfolk who'd had the car an awful long time, and he was kind of retiring. Same chap that we bought the mini pickup off downstairs.
Yeah.
Anyway, this car, original V8 Triumph with inherent issues, but
yeah, because it's got its original engine. Obviously, lots of them lost the engines, didn't they? But and have been swapped out over the years for Rover engines, etc. But obviously, this has got its proper.
So this is original Triumph engine.
Yeah.
V8.
Which sounds the best.
Sorry.
Sounds the best.
Yeah. Manual overdrive again.
Yeah.
Which is the car to have. Magenta is the original colour for the car. Yeah, absolutely love it. But we really did a proper job on this car to see how long it would take and if we were capable of doing it back in the day. So this car's been dipped.
This was the first of the sort of new age Hilton and Moss restorations, I guess, from when we were in the newer facilities, after sort of 40 years experience of repairing cars, painting cars.
That's right. And done to a really high level.
Yeah. Which is rare to find.
Money-wise, it would just not be worth doing.
Yeah, it was
because it's
no expense spared restoration, bit of a showcase of the work. From
absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely car. Anyway, from there we got more involved in other cars, and as you know, we're specialising in Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, and I guess it took off from there. There's definitely a love in the Hilton and Moss company for British classics, but obviously we do a lot of the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
A lot of the Mercedes-Benz as well.
Yeah. Well, I like you, love British cars, so Jaguar, Aston Martin.
And I guess arguably that's probably a bit of the truth behind Hilton and Moss is that lots of the cars we specialise in restore have been cars that you love, and that's how it's gone that way. The Mercedes partnership with the manufacturer approval, and then through to the Jags, which you love, I love, and then obviously the Astons as well.
So because as I said earlier, Mercedes-Benz is our biggest name that we work for, and we've been a registered body shop for a long time now.
Yeah.
So it's a very natural progression that some of the people that worked in the industry, in the business at the time, knew Mercedes-Benz like the back of their hand. So that's why we ended up going down that road. And
obviously that's probably what we're most known for now is our classic Mercedes restorations on 300 SL models, 190 SL models, Pagodas. It's probably one of the biggest cars we look after and restore, obviously alongside of Jaguars and Astons.
Yeah, totally agree with you. The 300 SL is just an incredible car for its day, absolutely.
Obviously we talk about it in the videos, but I guess this is a bit of confirmation that actually the business was founded on a passion for cars, fundamentally,
Yeah.
Of course it's a business, but at the end of the day it was started, down the line in your career because of your love for classics and arguably particular models, E-types, Gullwings, the Triumphs, Aston DBs. It's kind of a bit of a summary of your your favourite cars.
No, absolutely. I mean, that our blue E-type convertible Series 1 is another part of that history because we bought the car on eBay and fully restored it.
And I guess for the people watching this, we're quite fortunate that as Hilton and Moss as a company, we have a collection of cars that are a showcase. Some of them are your cars, some of the business cars that showcase the work we've done. So actually we have the history of the company in a sort of private collection of 15 to 20 cars that show the restoration, the history, the journey of the business from the Triumphs here to the E-types to the mini pickup downstairs.
Yeah.
That follow back.
Yeah, it's all part of the history, and that's the part that I really love. I feel very fortunate to be able to look out of my office and have be around the history. So that's why there's certain cars that we show today. The Pagoda, BBY, the 190 SL.
And lots of them are quite well-known cars that we've displayed at events now. For example, the 190 SL.
Yeah.
The blue one is YSU, is one of our probably, most favoured and award-winning restoration at some of the concourse shows it's been to as well. So they're cars that show what we can do, but
absolutely,
have been around a long time.
Yeah.
Well, what about the future of Hilton and Moss, Pete? Where it's going now. Obviously, the business has grown from the double garage to, a very large-scale restoration and sales business. So, what's your thoughts on the future?
Well, I know from what we've done in this new building we've got that the future's great. I think we're very lucky with the team that we have at Hilton and Moss. I think they're young and enthusiastic and totally behind the business, whether it is storage, whether it is restoration, service and sales. I think we're very lucky with the team that we have. We've now got the space to be able to achieve it. And I think we grow slowly and carefully and carry on specialising in what we do. Yeah. And that is, and also then building the company with younger people that want to get involved in the restoration and learn. I'm still learning. There's a lot to learn in restoration, especially when you...
I don't think you ever know all of it, do you? There's always...
No.
You always find new...
Yeah. But what I like about the business is it's got different aspects to it that go together well and make it work, make it viable. Yeah. So I think the future's great.
And what's the plans of yourself and your cars? What's your next trip planned, or what do you want to get on the road next? What do you want to use?
Well,
you've had the Lancia out recently.
Yeah, the Lancia's been great. It's part of the history again, isn't it? Came in '94. Used the car an awful lot. Used it as an everyday car. I mean, I've been driving it recently. It's still fantastic to drive.
Yeah.
Great handling.
Well, we've got some trips planned, haven't we, next year? Potentially to Paris, maybe in the Mark II Jag, maybe to Germany.
Fantastic car, the Mark II.
Yeah, and that's another car we'll be doing a video on soon as well.
Yeah.
Showing the journey of that car and its restoration project.
Yeah.
I guess ahead of probably a long trip and maiden voyage next year.
Yeah.
To Paris.
Looking forward to that. Anyway, thanks, Will. This is the first time I've been on any kind of camera, so...
I know. Well, I thought everyone was bored of seeing me, so it was it's time to put you on it.
Yeah. Been good.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.